What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Welcome to sunny settings yet again. A walk today around Usman. You'll be able to hear the goats in the background there. Messi and that up there, just drilling on and that, making noises. There they are. So I've settled here now, and I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about the Premier League fixtures. They did get released at 9 o'clock this morning, and as the title suggests, it is a crazy start for Newcastle United. A very tough start. Some people are saying we've been stitched off. The Premier League are doing when we rip again. Well, we'll talk about it. Let's dive straight into it. I mean, for me, it is obviously a very tough start. Newcastle, in their opening 5 games, faced teams that have finished in the top 10 last season. It is a very, wow, that's a really hot, whatever that is. It was a really hot start for Newcastle as well. It is going to be a tough one. It is going to be very tricky. Listen, we'll start off the campaign with some really tough games. We'll get into them now. Aston Villa at home is the first one, and it is televised. So they didn't wait long, did they? To get Newcastle United on TV again. 5:30 kickoff on the opening day of the season. Saturday, 5:30 kickoff against Aston Villa. That's a tough start in itself before we even get into the big boys who are going to play in the next couple of weeks, because I'm tipping Villa to have a very good season next year. Obviously, they finished strongly under Unai Emery. They now are in Europe, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that next year. But Unai Emery, they've signed Yuri Tielemans. They've already got a good squad there. They've got a very good manager in Unai Emery. So that's going to be a tricky game, a tough start to the season. Our games against Villa are always close, but we are at home. That is the key for me in that opening game. We are at home. If that was at Villa Park, wouldn't have fancied that. That would have been a stinky start, especially with our recent record there. However, it's at home. St James's Park will be bouncing. War Flags have put out a thing this morning talking about how they want to raise more money because they want to take it up a level next year and keep these amazing displays going now that we're in the Champions League. This will be the first Premier League game at St James's Park since we qualified for the Champions League. Our first game of the season in our new campaign back in Europe, and the place will be absolutely buzzing. For this to be in a 5:30 kickoff as well is definitely going to help even more. I think everyone will be on the drink all day, the party atmosphere. It'll be nice weather like this, hopefully at the start of August. And yeah, St James's Park will be rocking. I fancy us against Villa at home that day. Then it's just a little matter of the Etihad. Man City away the next week. We travel to the champions already. Oh, the second week of the season we'll have to go play Man City's Pep Guardiola. Oh my dear. I tell you what though, I'm leaning on the positive side of this. I'm not having this, Man City straight away. I like it, right? I'm going to spin this one. I like Man City straight away. Get them out of the way first and foremost. But Man City are always slow starters in terms of they always finish the league a lot stronger than they start. We've seen it last year. We've seen it against Liverpool. They always catch them up. But at the start of the season, they're not great in terms of how they finish it. They are fantastic, unbeatable, go on a mad run. Like I said, catched Arsenal up last year, catched Liverpool up before. It takes them, you wouldn't say a while to get into the groove because they're still obviously amazing, but it takes them a while to get to 100%. And I think I'd rather get Man City done and dusted in August. I'm happy with that. Etihad, obviously our record there isn't good at all. But to play them early doors, get them out of the way when there's not many points on the board, when they haven't had time. I think Man City, before they get into the swing of things, I'll take that. I'm not too fussed about that. I'm not too scared about that. I would rather than play them early than play them late on and need a result to whatever our objective is at the end of the season, to stay in the top 4 or whatever. But so it's Villa at home, Man City away, Liverpool at home. How's that for you? Liverpool at home. Well, that one as well for me. I can see on paper again, you look at, wow, playing Villa, top 6 team. Wow, playing City, best team in the league. Wow, playing Liverpool, top 5 team. They're going to be back stronger. But I'm going to try and lean on the positive side again, is that Jurgen Klopp won't have had much time to embed his new signings. Liverpool are going to do a lot of business this summer. They're letting a lot of players go. They've already brought in McAllister from Brighton. Klopp's going to have to drill in his style of play to these new players, their new midfield. Newcastle at home to Liverpool. I'll take that as well. I think it's good to get that one, and I want revenge for that Carabao Cup nightmare that we had the week before our final against Man U in the Carabao Cup, where Pope got sent off. I'm happy to get this out of the way, get revenge, and play Liverpool, and I'll fancy our chances. Now, obviously, all these games as well, we've got to say, are subject to change to TV and European competitions and cup competitions. But yeah, it'll be on that weekend or that weekend about. So Liverpool at home, I fancy our chances in that one. Like I say, play them at the start where we've got the buzz before we start getting, because it's going to be harder for us as the season goes on, getting used to playing twice a week. Liverpool obviously got Europa League next year. What a crappy little competition that is, eh? Thursday night? Nah, I don't do a Thursday nights around here. Nothing but Tuesdays and Wednesdays, baby. So we'll see about that one. But I'm alright with that. Liverpool at home, beat them. And then we've got Brighton away. That's what I mean about a tough start. My goodness, it isn't easy, like, is it? It is a very hard start. Brighton away follows them games. And obviously they've got European football now, so we'll see how they get on. But Brighton away, that's a tough game. Brentford at home, we'll have a bit of that. Brentford at home, I'm all right with that. And then the fixtures start finally getting a little bit, well, you wouldn't say easier because you never know how these newly promoted sides are going to get on. But we've then got Sheffield United away and Burnley at home. So it's a really tough one when you look at the paper and you see City, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford. You know, it's hard, but you've got to remember Brentford won't be without Ivan Toney. Sheffield United, decent little close away trip that forward, get that out of the way where the weather's alright as well. Early on the season, then Burnley at home, who start their campaign actually Vincent Kompany on a Friday night against his ex-team Man City. So interesting to see how that gets on. So there's the opening set of fixtures. We'll talk about some big ones now, the important dates. Obviously there's no Derby to talk about. What a shame. You know what I mean? No Derby, not even Middlesbrough came up. No Sunderland, no Middlesbrough, no Derby next year for Newcastle again. So like I say, I want the Macmans to come up. I want to look at these fixtures when they get released and get excited for Derby Day. Slap them up now. We're absolutely bossing it, man. You know what I mean? It'd be an easy 6 points. Be a good day out. None of that. None of that still. So what we're going to talk about is a busy, crazy December. The December fixture list is hectic and chaotic as ever. We have got Man United at home, Everton away, Spurs away, and then chucked in between that was Luton away. Luton away in December. Kenilworth Road. No one's going to fancy going there. In between Barbara's house, you know what I mean? Going up the past the washing lines and into the concourse. Luton's ground, absolute mental. And we've got that right before Christmas, 23rd of December. That's scheduled for at the minute, so that's mad. Christmas Eve in Luton. Good luck getting down there. If you're not driving on the buses, trains and everything, will be an absolute disaster. And yeah, it'll probably be snowing, so that'll be a really tough test that for us. Like a snowy Kenilworth Road. Oh, before Christmas. Great. Be interesting to see where they are in the league at that point and how they've got on. Like I said before, that Man U at home, happy with that. That'll be interesting in December. Spurs away, good stuff. Goodison Park, that'll be on a Tuesday night, no doubt. You know what I mean? That'll be a midweek game. Always seems to be a midweek game at Goodison. Although it might not be this time now, since we've got Champions League football. And then in a notable mention in December as well, there's also Liverpool away on the 30th. So you could be spending New Year's in Liverpool, Scousland, Merseyside. So Liverpool away, that's a tough one as well to wrap up the year. Also January, it's noting that in January there's not many games, there's only 2 fixtures in January. In January, I can't even read my own handwriting here. City at home and Villa away, I think I've said there, is the only games we've got in January because there is a Premier League winter break. That's not really a winter break because they're taking like a week or so off. Unless you were in the Carabao Cup semi-final, that would be played in that week, which obviously Newcastle were in last year. Unless you've got an FA Cup replay, which will be played in that week. So not much of a break, really, but definitely a break in terms of fixtures. Only 2 Premier League games in the whole of January. And then we finish off the season with an away trip to Brentford. Back in the capital for the end of the season. Away trip to Brentford at the last game of the season. So I'll tell you what, you may as well stay in London. Book your hotels for a couple of weeks, just have a couple of weeks in London because you do Brentford away for the Premier League last game of the season, and then you'll have the FA Cup final at Wembley, and then we'll have the Champions League final at Wembley. Aye, that's what I'm talking about. So we'll wrap things up there. We'll stay at Brentford for the Premier League roundup, last game of the season, and the FA Cup final at Wembley, Champions League final at Wembley. We'll do it. It's on. Barella's coming. Do you know what I mean? It's all good. There's no use thinking those fixtures. Obviously, I understand everyone saying, you know, it's a really tough start, which it is. But I've given my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel TV. I'll see you on the next one.